How about we do an episode of 24 with Jack Bauer. Jack Bauer? You know 24, the TV show?
Yeah, that's right.
Where
yeah.
it's like 20 each season is 24 episodes. It takes place in a day and each episode's an hour. So it's like you're watching it happen in real time. I've never actually watched 24.
Wow, I wonder if that's good or not. That'd be very interesting to watch.
I mean, it's like a
what
classic.
if he needs? What if he needs to go to the toilet? Like, so the half the episode you're just sitting on the
toilet taking a shit. So I think
great.
that's our recommendation: is go watch 24, the hit TV show from like 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, but welcome to our podcast now, episode 24. I'm your host, Lachlan Rodwell, and I'm joined by someone who's living in a virtual reality world, a make-believe world, and he just doesn't want to leave it. He just loves it so much. I'm joined by Lucas Boreham.
Is this the metaverse? Is that what you're talking
right
about?
now? Yes, this is the metaverse. This is what Mark Zuckerberg was dreaming of. But yes, this week we will be talking about the new Matrix movie, the fourth Matrix movie. What's it called? Matrix Resurrections. Because he died and now he's come back to life.
Well, I thought it's more resurrecting not the brand. It's not a brand. The Matrix isn't a brand.
I mean, you could see it that way too. I'm sure there's a double meaning. I mean, the Matrix is very meta.
That is true.
But before we get into that, we have some options for the news this week.
Okay.
I'll let you decide. So firstly, the Golden Globes happened today as of recording.
Yes.
And no one cared about it because they didn't have a live audience this year and they didn't record it as well. So it's just like, it was like a private event and then they just announced the winners and there were no speeches, there were no stars or celebrities, there was nothing, right?
Wow.
So we can talk about the winners.
Yeah. Let's gloss over the winners like a tiny bit.
Okay. Do you want to do that?
Yeah. I want to give people shit for winning awards that I'll never win in my entire life.
So I do just quickly, the big news out of the Golden Globes was, so the reason why it wasn't why there wasn't an audience and it wasn't, on TV like it usually is because it was actually cancelled, like by cancel culture, essentially.
Really?
Because the Hollywood, I believe it's the Hollywood Foreign Press, they're just a bunch of privileged white people voting for other privileged white people to win awards. So you could see how, we're not the right people to talk about it, but still, they were cancelled. But I think it's interesting that the year that it was cancelled is the year that they give an award to a trans woman.
Wow.
So did they learn their lesson? So they were cancelled. I should have said they were cancelled like for lack of diversity.
I see.
And then suddenly now they're giving an award to a trans woman.
Wait.
Congratulations to her, but at the same time, I think something shady's going on there for the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Yeah. Well, I always thought that Golden Globes, like compared to the Oscars, is more of a universal.
It's supposed to be
celebrated award.
It's like it's supposed to be more international because it's the Hollywood Foreign Press doing it. It's supposed to be more international, and it's kind of supposed to be like it's not as proper. It's not like as high class, like tuxedo. It's supposed to be a little bit lowbrow. When like Ricky Gervais is hosting and he's doing a bunch of lowbrow jokes, right? It's supposed to be like the fun one compared to the Oscars.
That's true.
Right. But often it's just seen as like the shittier one in reality.
I mean, yeah, I feel like if Ricky Gervais didn't, do his good speeches, I feel like
some of his stuff is like some of his best stuff comes from hosting the Golden Globes. Like, he would rip into celebrities, and like that was good to see, But yeah, this year no host because there was no show. So let's go through the winners. Best Picture, Drama, because remember they split it into drama, and the other category is musical or comedy. because they're the same thing, musical or comedy. But anyway, drama. Best picture drama goes to The Power of the Dog. Have you seen this movie?
No, I haven't even
Neither
heard
have
of
I.
it. Yeah.
Wonderful. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch. It's on Netflix.
Wait, Benedict Number Snatch? Wait, who?
It stars Doctor Strange himself.
Wow.
Yes. And I think it's a New Zealand movie, and it's about cowboys or some shit.
Oh, okay.
But it must be very good.
That's lovely. That's good. If it's from New Zealand, it's probably
they make good movies.
Yeah, they do.
Australia makes not great movies, but New Zealand, they've got a great film industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now moving on to the musical/comedy category.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Spielberg's version of West Side Story won. Have you seen that? Because I haven't.
My parents wanted me to watch it because they were telling me about, how influential the West Side Stories were.
Yeah, I've never seen any incarnation of West Side Story.
Yeah, so apparently, it's a play or something. It's a theater performance thing.
It's a musical.
It's a music. That's
why it's in the musical or comedy category.
I was about to say I thought you were reading the drama one. I was like, but that was the one you just said before.
Come on, keep on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, no, that sounds like it should have won. I think because a lot of people were.
I don't know. Well, out of the movies in this category, like all of the dramas, I mean, June was nominated, and you could argue that was probably the best movie of last year. But even then, but for the musical/comedy, there's a lot. Have you seen Don't Look Up on Netflix?
I need to. Apparently, it's very good. Everyone has watched it. Yeah.
I've seen it. Mm-hmm. It's fucking awful. It's really bad.
Everyone says it's
so
great.
bad. I know. And the thing, it has gotten quite a lot of backlash. Essentially, it's a movie about climate change, but like a metaphor for climate change.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, that's all good. But it just makes really superficial criticism of like American politics, and it's like it's not saying anything new. It's all just stuff that like as an Australian, it's like, yeah, no shit, like of course, because we don't have the same views as Americans. But if you're like an idiot American, then I could see you watching Don't Look Up and being like, oh wow, I didn't know, this was how the world sees America. And it's like, yeah, this is how you fucking seem to us.
Dickhead. But yeah,
so,
no.
And the director, Adam McKay, said, if you think my movie's bad, then you don't get it. And I was like, no, I got it. It's just not very good. Anyway.
I still got it.
Yes.
It's shit.
You're wrong.
Yeah, I'm surprised because like a couple of people saying like it's
Starcast.
Good.
Look, like coming off the back of Vice and The Big Short, I thought it would be more like those movies, but it's so stupid, and it's way more like Talladega Nights and Anchorman and that.
What the heck?
Yeah, and I wasn't expecting that. Like, look, slight spoilers, but there's a whole subplot like revolving around like a tech billionaire who's supposed to be like Elon Musk, right? Like that kind of character. Yeah. Except he's modeled after Steve Jobs, which makes no sense because that's not the kind of guy Steve Jobs was. And the end of the movie is he builds a fucking gigantic spaceship and all the rich people fly away on the gigantic spaceship. And it's so stupid. It's like, it's just ridiculous.
So is that how the movie ends? The asteroid destroys the planet?
Yeah. Because it's a metaphor for climate change and us not doing anything. So the whole point, the entire time that they're going to fail, because that's the point. Is like the whole time it's like they're going to die. And it's just about, like them failing at trying to live. Because it's,
Wow. Lovely.
It's not funny, but it's not depressing. It's not anything. It's just, it's just not very good.
It's a watch.
But anyway, the other nominees included Licorice Pizza, which I saw last night, which is P.T. Anderson's new movie. And it's like, it's about a 15-year-old boy who kind of falls in love with a 25-year-old woman. And then it's like, is this okay? But it focuses on their friendship, and it's very good. And
so
then
just a friendship? They focus just on the friendship, right?
Look, it's not. There's no sex. Okay.
Thank God.
But there is love.
What?
So
10 years. That's the age gap.
It could be a bit problematic, but
why is it called licorice pizza?
Licorice pizza. I know a lot of people wondered that, and my girlfriend asked me that after watching the movie, and I said, "Oh, because like licorice is like childish, and pizza's more like adult, so it's like the relationship of the two main characters." I was completely wrong.
Licorice caviar, maybe? That would have been a bit better.
Yeah, true. No, licorice pizza is a slang term for like a vinyl record.
Wow.
Because the movie's set in like the 70s.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's like influenced by like that kind of aesthetic. Anyway, that's very good. So that could have won. Probably should have won as well. Or Tick, Tick, Boom, starring Andrew Garfield, which came out on Netflix.
I need to watch that as well.
That one is really good. And I would say as a musical goes, I'm not a big musical guy. I do like Les Mis. But Tick, Tick, Boom was very, very good.
Wow. Okay, I'll give it a watch. And I love Andrew Garfield. My God.
Yeah, he's so good. He had a great year last year. He was in so many movies. And his best performance came outside of movies. His best performance came from interviews where he had to deny being in Spider-Man No Way Home.
God,
did a fantastic job.
God, he's good. Yeah, Tom Holland is terrible at that. Jesus Christ. I love that.
Spoils every movie.
Then he can't
contain himself.
I love that. I love that about him. But yeah.
Okay, let's finish off with the actresses and actors. So for motion picture drama, Nicole Kidman won for being the Ricardos. Okay. Neither of us have seen that, I'm guessing?
No. Apparently
Next
it's about
one.
the Ricardos, but...
Yes, it's about being the Ricardos.
Sorry.
Come on. So I'm guessing she played a Ricardo.
Wow.
Best actor drama goes to Will Smith in King Richard. Haven't seen that either.
No. Jesus. No. For movie podcasters, we are fucking
so
terrible.
Bad. We are terrible.
It's because none of these movies are just enticing at all.
Yeah, like, I don't know. A lot of the Oscar bait during the pandemic season, I don't know if you'd call it a season, but during the pandemic, they just haven't been as interesting as previous Oscar bait kind of movies.
Yeah, exactly.
It's strange. Best actress from musical and comedy is Rachel Zegler from West Side Story.
Lovely.
Yep. And now here's a good one. Best actor, motion picture, musical / comedy goes to Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom. So it's a fantastic performance. He deserves it. I think he should go all the way and get the Academy Award. I think he should get the Oscar.
Academy Award.
They should say Andrew Garfield 4 and just list all of his movies that he did in 2021. But yeah, I think he should get best actor for the Oscars.
Yeah.
I'll skip the supporting for drama because no one gives a shit. And we'll just end on the TV shows. Actually, wait. Best director goes to Jane Campion for Power of the Dog. So,
wait, is that person from New Zealander or?
Yes, I believe so because it's I know it's a New Zealand movie.
Damn, they've done well. I'm proud of them.
Oh, best song goes to Billie Eilish for No Time to Die.
Yay! I didn't like it.
Really? I thought for Bond songs, I thought it was alright.
It wasn't bad.
I hate Adele's one with a passion.
What, Skyfall?
Yeah. Skyfall.
I liked it.
Yeah. All right. Agree to disagree then.
Fuck off. Yeah.
Okay, we'll end it off with the TV series. So best drama went to Succession. Now, I've watched the first couple of episodes. It is good, but I do struggle with drama TV because it's so long and boring. But have you seen Succession?
My parents have watched it and they said It was great. They've watched every TV show under the sun because of COVID.
Yeah.
And yeah, they say it's, they're top ranked.
Interestingly, Squid Game was nominated for Best Drama.
Well, I mean, it was good. It was like every single person on this earth knows what that film is. Not film, TV series.
TV series. Yeah. And then the other ones were Lupin, The Morning Show, and Pose.
The Morning Show.
Yeah. That's the one with Steve Carell and the girl from the woman from Friends.
Yeah.
I forgot. Okay. Yeah. An Apple TV Plus show. But yeah. So I think, Succession's the clear winner there. I think that's also Adam McKay's also works on that. So there you go. Now the musical and comedy I've never heard of. It's called Hacks. Have you heard of Hacks?
Like with an X or with a C?
No, with a CKS.
CKS. No, I haven't. But
no.
I think I might have, honestly, but
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
Now, all of the nominees for this category can get fucked, but Ted Lasso should have won. I don't know if you've seen Ted Lasso. It is so good.
I've heard about it.
Yeah. It is phenomenal. Jason Sudeikis, underrated. He's so good. But yeah, so to sum up the Golden Globes, we haven't seen most of the movies. Yeah. But yay for Andrew Garfield.
Yay! For the people we care about, they did well.
Yeah.
And New Zealand as a country did well, and that's huge.
Good on them. Good on them.
Yeah, fucking awesome. All right.
Okay, now moving on to The Matrix Resurrections. Keanu Reeves returns. One of the Wachowskis returns to direct.
One of them.
One of them. The other one didn't. I don't know. Oh, I think there was a bit of drama around. Essentially, one of them was like, okay, here's the story. Here's what happened. Warner Brothers were like, we're going to make another Matrix movie. He has never been bigger. We got to bring him back to do a Matrix movie. And then they went to the Wachowskis and, Wachowskis. They went to the Wachowskis, and one of them was like, yeah, sure. And the other one was just burnt out and was like, no. So I think it was Lana Wachowski that came back to direct this one.
Okay.
And the other one's Lily. I think it was Lana. Wait. Oh, yeah, Lana. Yeah, I think it was Lana.
Well, definitely felt like it in this movie.
Yeah, it was Lana Wachowski.
Yeah.
And yeah, so essentially the premise of... And we'll try to do the start spoiler-free, because no one has seen this movie.
Yeah.
So the premise is essentially it's set kind of long after the original trilogy ended.
Years? Or
like a long time after.
A long time.
Some of the characters from the original trilogy make a return in different ways, and the movie's kind of a mystery as to, what's going on in this new iteration of the Matrix. Why we saw Neo and Trinity die in the third one. Why are they back to life? What's going on here?
Yes. And
there's kind of, the movie surrounds that mystery. And I would say the best part of the movie for me is the story. I did enjoy uncovering what's going on with the Matrix, why Keanu's back, what's going on with Neo and Trinity. I found that interesting, and I thought because this is a legacy sequel in the same way that, The Force Awakens is, or Blade Runner 2049. It's a legacy sequel where you have a classic movie, and in a lot of respects, that classic movie or classic movie series has like a definitive conclusion, and now you're coming in and trying to, like, on top of that conclusion, try to start something new, and it's this weird... It can kind of be this weird dynamic where it's like, you don't want to forget everything that came before you because you want to respect it.
Similar to Eternals, very much so.
Yeah. Well, you have to rewrite a lot of things that have previously happened.
Yeah, exactly. And the way that they showed that throughout the film, all right, spoilers over.
Okay, so you just heard my non-spoiler review, and you're just going to hear Lucas's spoiler review.
Yeah, because you should just not see this film. If you actually are a fan of the original three, just don't see this film because it adds nothing. Absolutely nothing. To
I agree with that.
The original three. Like,
to me, see, here's what I'd say. I think it is good. I don't think it's, because here's the thing, right? The original Matrix is really good, like all time, like one of the best movies of all time, right? Then the sequels are rubbish, but it's kind of like, you know, the Star Wars movies where it's like the prequels aren't very good, but you kind of like it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think the second and third Matrix movies are particularly good, but it's like, that's the Matrix and you like it for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This movie is like an epilogue, so it's not necessary. It's not necessary viewing. But I think it's a kind of better movie than the other two Matrix. Like, it's this weird thing where, in terms of how a movie is made, I think this movie, I think Resurrections is better than the other two, right? 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the Matrix part of it, it's not as good, and it's not necessary viewing, and it's just a bit of a wet fart at the end of this series. It doesn't really make sense. Like, I wouldn't watch all 4. You know, if I was going to do a marathon, I'd only do the first 3. You know,
exactly. Mm-hmm.
But yes,
I 100% agree. Like, it just feels like, again, it just so unnecessary. Like, it just didn't need to be added at all. And some of the, like, it was interesting at the start, like you said before, like, oh, who are these new characters? Like, what's going on? But as soon as they become kind of self-aware in the movie itself, like, they do have a scene where, like, Keanu's, or like, because he works at this game company where he makes the Matrix games, and they're literally just pulling scenes from the old movies, and it's like cringe.
That I did have an issue with that. So, in the context of the original Matrix, Thomas Anderson is a game developer. So then, when being rebooted in this new Matrix, he's still a game developer, but now he's developed the Matrix into video games. Now, I'd be okay with that if they didn't just show scenes from the original movie.
Yeah,
it would have made more sense if they potentially changed it and said, okay, Thomas Anderson is now like a film director, and he directed those movies.
Or it would have made sense if they used the game that they made, maybe.
Yeah,
you know,
I know
the Unreal
the
Engine
Matrix
5.
Awakens or whatever. Yeah,
that one, that fucking one you made. Like,
and just so scenes from that.
Like, they made it. They made a game. Like, you can download it on Xbox or PlayStation. Like, they fuck it, and it's cool. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, this game is spectacular. But they didn't use it.
They just used scenes from the movie.
Exactly. I reckon even if they use this, like, the scenes from the movie, the old movies, but put a filter,
video game.
Yeah, as a video game, like, you know, with the controls and everything in it, that would have been better.
Matrix Awakens did remake scenes from the movies.
Exactly. Like,
so they could have done that.
They did.
They had the engine. The main part was done.
I know. Like, it just felt terrible. Like, it's just like I'm watching the last 3 just fucking. Yeah, it was terrible. And then, like, even more self-aware how they're like, oh yeah, Warner Brothers wants us to make a 4th game.
That's the other thing is, like, Warner Brothers makes movies. Yes, they have a games division, but like,
did they need to be name dropped? Like,
well, see, that's what I found weird about the movie is that they're making out that Warner Brothers is the bad guy, and this is a Warner Brothers. This is a Warner Brothers movie. Like, what? How did they get away with that? I don't know. It doesn't. But at the same time, I kind of like that it's being critical, because the one thing that movie does well at the start is it's like, okay, we're going to do a 4th Matrix movie, and it's got to have bullet time, and it's going to, like, it's all the things that we know from the Matrix. We got to bring it back, and it's the experience of Lana Wachowski making this movie. She's telling you that, like, Warner Brothers wanted a cash grab, and they asked me to come back, and I was like, well, I'm going to tell it my way.
That's true. That is actually
I did like the commentary there and breaking the 4th wall, and I thought it's very Matrix to do that. So I liked that in terms of the themes of the movie. I did like that. But some of it was too heavy-handed with, like, the Warner Brothers and...
Very true, yeah.
Yeah.
agree.
What are your thoughts on the new Morpheus and new Agent Smith?
Well, I understand that they tried to get, bless his soul, I can't remember his name.
Hugo Weaving?
Hugo Weaving, back. Fair enough, but I'm kind of glad he turned down the role because like that kind of would have made the movie like that whole lot better because this Agent Smith was just like.
So
it just
the
like
actor, the actor's called Jonathan Groff.
Yeah.
He's in this fantastic show called Mindhunter on Netflix.
Mhm.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, no, it surely is.
But yeah, it felt I didn't like it. Look, what I would say is it was confusing. Why
very
Morpheus and Agent Smith came back in this new form? For Morpheus, the assumption is, well, because it's been so long, the actual Morpheus has died, and Neo programmed in his video game a Morpheus. And then that's the Morpheus that we see. And then the other side of it is that Neil Patrick Harris's character, who is now like the architect of the Matrix, created the boss to be Agent Smith to keep Neo in check. Yeah. That's kind of the assumption, but it's very messy and confusing.
Because at the end of the day, Agent Smith kind of backstabs, you know, the architect. Yeah, that's his name.
Like in the original trilogy, the point was that Agent Smith got too powerful and was like the whole point of the ending of the original trilogy was that Neo teamed up with the robots to stop Agent Smith because he was destroying everything because he got too powerful as a program.
Exactly.
Right. So then why would the architect then bring him back? Because it's like, this could be trouble. And it's like supposed to be based off his original programming. And that's why he can remember Neo and he gets all his powers back in that. Mm-hmm. So it just seems like a messy way to bring it back. And it's like some elements, I think they do a good job. So the in terms of being a legacy sequel, the best part of the story is that Trinity and Neo are brought back to life because if you're unfamiliar with the Matrix, the premise is that the humans are batteries because I only know this from the IGN recap I watched before the movie, but there's an animated Matrix movie that explains kind of what happens before the Matrix.
And that's fucking sick.
Oh, have you seen it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like it shows what the history and the war.
So essentially it's like a war between robots and humans, and the humans the robots are using solar power, so the humans blanket the sky, right? And then the robots realize, oh, we can just use humans as a battery source, and then they're fine. And then they create the Matrix to generate power, essentially. And in this movie, spoilers, the reason why Neo and Trinity are brought back to life is because they realize that they can generate the most electricity by being close together, but not too close that they start breaking the Matrix. And I thought that's like an interesting way to bring it back and kind of give another side of the Matrix, like extend the story a bit more. That I found interesting, but the agents bringing back Agent Smith and bringing back Morpheus, that I found confusing and not as interesting.
Exactly, I completely agree. And I didn't actually understand why, like how Morpheus was brought back because, like, so Mr. Anderson makes his programming on his computer like a Matrix that he thinks is a game, but is an actual another Matrix, like.
Yes.
That can be...
It's a matrix within a matrix.
Okay. So I was just making sure that...
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that Morpheus was an agent, and like he was just like, oh, okay, I'm not an agent anymore, I'm actually...
Because, so what I would say to that, it's like, Thomas Anderson wasn't... He did it subconsciously. It's like his Neo has been recessed, right?
Yeah.
And is like, he coded this, the video game, The Matrix, and secretly coded Morpheus into it.
I see.
I think that's the assumption.
Okay, yeah. 'Cause again, like it just on screen, it looks just very weird. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is all just happening, for some reason.
And I would say as well, the movie doesn't feel or look like a Matrix movie.
No, it doesn't
at all. In terms of the visual style, right? The original Matrix movies are very common, like very well known for having that green filter, right? And this is very just poppy and like a lot of colors, and it kind of looks ugly. Like I think,
it does.
like in terms of the visuals, it kind of looks ugly.
It looks cheap.
It does. It looks really cheap. And adding to that, the action scenes are very few and far between, and then they're not on the scale of a
No.
like typically in a sequel, right? You go bigger and better. But even then, if you didn't go bigger and better, but you should still at least match what you did in the original movies. And there's nothing really new
No.
in the fight scenes. Neo can't fly. He's not as OP. Even Agent Smith isn't as OP because they all kind of they don't really have their powers. So it's...
And even Neo's powers were like not the original, like they were kind of just all over the place. And I hated that last scene where everything was after them. I was just like, it was just kind of very awkward.
Well, it didn't, I know, it didn't feel revolutionary, which the Matrix kind of should feel like.
Exactly.
And it just wasn't as interesting to look at as well. Like these fight scenes were kind of standard. And the one thing that they do to try and reinvent it is they do reverse bullet time. And firstly, it looks like shit. Yeah. And secondly, it's not that cool. It's just everyone else is slow but Neo.
Exactly.
Sorry, it's the opposite. It's he's slow and whatever.
I mean, it was smart for the architect to use, but it just, I don't know. It just didn't hit. All these swings and misses.
Yeah. I know. It's just weird as well. Like, it just... the movie doesn't justify its existence.
Exactly.
There's no reason this movie should exist. It was purely a cash grab. It just happened to come at a bad time with COVID. Because I think if COVID wasn't a thing, I think maybe it could have made some money because it's like Keanu Reeves is a big name now.
I'm kind of glad it didn't. Because then, Warner Brothers is like, okay, we won't do this again. You shouldn't.
This is very much a one and done kind of movie. There's no way they make a sequel to this.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's just ending the Matrix franchise as an epilogue.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like a big... It doesn't really start anything new, and it doesn't end anything. It's purely just like an epilogue, another...
Even that guitar solo at the end where they both fly off into the distance, I was just like, what the fuck? What, you seriously just left the Matrix in a state like that? I know, that's the last we'll see of these characters. That's a big fuck you to what these characters meant for cinema, Exactly.
And everything about the movie kind of just feels generic when it shouldn't. But maybe that's the point. Maybe it was supposed to feel generic. Maybe as a meta commentary over coming back and revisiting sequels and cash grabs and that, maybe it was supposed to be, hey, this is what happens when you try to do this. You get a generic movie.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that very clearly. So, yeah.
I would like to say, of course, Trinity's husband in The Matrix is called Chad.
I know, yeah. And that part where she kind of flips, she kind of snaps, is so cringe because she says too much. She's like, "Get your hands off me," and then she has a sentence too long. In those moments where it's like you want just a couple of syllables to just be like "fuck you," but she kind of has a whole little moment there, and I'm like, can she just kick him or something? And then even when that happened, it didn't feel satisfying. It's we don't know. We've seen this husband twice. Why did all of a sudden you hate him just because you're in a cafe full of just 100 SWAT
Well, because
people?
The point was that the architect, played by Neil Patrick Harris, is making their lives miserable
Yeah.
because that generates more energy than if people are happy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Neo was.
So then
fucking
they give her like a shit
miserable.
name, like a name she hates as well, because it's like then she's more miserable.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's partially why Agent Smith is the boss, because then it's like, well, Neo hates Agent Smith, so he'd hate the boss. But yeah,
It just leaves a bad taste. It's like, eating a big pizza, right?
I think
Lovely
look,
pizza.
I thought it was fun to revisit The Matrix. I had an enjoyable time watching it.
But like when you say fun to revisit, you don't actually mean half of this movie is snippets from the past 3 fucking movies. Like,
That is very
like,
true.
Like
They just
Blade
cut.
Runner.
They're very lazy. They just cut
Exactly.
to the previous scenes in
Like,
other movies.
this was all real. Like, Trinity was real. Like, it was cheap. Like, I wanted Neo to either like find out himself and then like have these like flashbacks himself, rather than just be like, oh, this is my game. This real. Like, oh, okay, I'm back to go back to normal. Like, I would have enjoyed if like Neo had to find his powers again instead of being like, I know what I can do.
Well, that's the other thing, right? Like this movie, the Matrix, like the Matrix is always supposed to be something new and fresh, and like you would think that they would do something crazy. I think here's the thing. I think they wanted to play it safe because they didn't want to ruin the previous 3 movies. But what
They
people
already
were looking
fucking did.
for was something that was like a huge revelation about the original 3. That it's like what everything you thought you knew was wrong or something like that. Like that is kind of what would have been needed in a good revisit to the Matrix, because it's like that's what the Matrix is. It's about revolutionizing everything, and like you don't know what to
Exactly.
expect. But instead they play it extremely safe, and it's just another iteration of the Matrix. And the parts that you're trying to figure out, I think watching the movie, I was hoping for something cooler to be revealed than just that they're batteries and they're really close together to generate more energy.
100%. Yeah, I it would have been interesting if like I don't know, they were taken like prisoner or something. They were in this like huge prison, like not in the Matrix, but in the real world, and like just something else than you're still in this like fucking tubes and you're just being like resurrected.
It didn't feel like it was very creative in any respect.
No. It just felt like, there's just another architect. He's made a Matrix. Like he just seemed like, he's another like business idea that's come along.
It's just another movie.
Exactly.
It's not the original 3 Matrix movies feel like a cohesive story, and then this just feels like tacked on. It's another movie.
Yeah. Exactly.
But again, I want to make it clear, I didn't hate it. I think you hated it more than I did.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. I liked, like, there are aspects of it that I liked. I liked watching Keanu return to this role. Right. I liked seeing Trinity again. And, even though it wasn't the true Agent Smith, I like when he goes, Mr. Anderson. And it's like, and I liked hearing the Matrix music. Like, there were elements that I was like, I felt nostalgic for.
Fair enough. I mean, it did get, 64% on Rotten Tomatoes,
So I'm in the majority and Lucas is wrong.
Okay, that's fine. I'm the other 40%. They're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
How dare you? Because, again, it is the Matrix, though. Like, it's a huge deal. There's a lot of hype, You're bringing back the same characters. Like, there's a fuck ton of hype, And you've got to bring more than just a few explosions and... we can stop time now.
There was barely any action in this movie.
Exactly.
At all.
Yeah.
Which was the most disappointing part for me.
Yeah.
It was like The Matrix has always been... Look, yes, it gets into some like heavy topics and tries to be really philosophical and whatever else, right? But at the end of the day, it's cool fight scenes. Like, that is The Matrix.
Oh my god, yeah.
And that's what everyone remembers. And...
Just the chills of watching that, like, fight scene in the first Matrix where like Neo can either run or he can fucking turn and fight. Like, just those chills that you get. Like, they need to like get that energy
Yeah.
and
I
get a
I had
whole
no
lot of
chills.
money.
I
Yeah,
had no chills in this movie.
I had just my eyes kept fucking rolling because I was just so
Yeah.
like just done with this film. But I mean, let's talk about the budget boys.
Budget boys.
Dab. But yeah, this film.
Okay, wait, can I guess?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to say it seems low budget to me. I reckon 100 million.
Try 90 more.
No way. No fucking
Yeah, I know.
way.
I know. But
Oh.
10 million less than River
Then
Cruise.
Jungle, it's called Jungle Cruise. You
Then-
get that wrong every single week.
Then Africa Cruise.
Africa Cruise.
Then The Rock Cruise.
The
Yeah.
Rock Cruise with Emily Blunt. 190, it doesn't feel like it. They didn't use their budget well. Because if we go back to June, right, as well, like that movie is by far has the best CGI of any movie this year.
Oh my God,
right, fantastic.
yeah.
You feel like you're transported to another planet.
Like, oh my God, yeah. It's that intense that
Right.
you're literally in the unknown. It feels
Yeah.
like you've been transported
Exactly.
to a fucking island.
And that was probably the same budget as
Yeah,
Matrix.
wait, I want to have a look. Dune budget. My laptop. Dude, the Dune budget was 165 million.
There you go, it was less. And the CGI was way better. So
Interstellar was 165 million as well.
there you go. Again, fantastic CGI. So this movie looks cheap. Well, also, what did you think? Actually, let's finish Budget Brothers with the box office. A box office
Oh,
bonanza.
yeah.
How low do we think? Do we think it's even made? Do you reckon it's even made it to 190 million?
No.
I'm gonna
I think
say it's at 100 million.
Yeah, wait, let's have a look. Box office. Box office. Oh, yeah. I'm not seeing any numbers. Oh no, I am. 124 million.
So, remembering it did also come out on HBO Max at the same time. I think it's the last movie to do that, which we can all agree was a colossal mistake from Warner Brothers because all of their movies made no money and it didn't really increase their streaming numbers that all too much.
Yeah.
But it was great for us who could see movies at home. That was a benefit.
Yeah.
But yes, so it didn't make much money. It didn't even break even with its budget. And
Yeah.
when you account for marketing, it had to probably make over 300 million to break even, if not
Yeah.
more.
That's true.
So
it's a bit of a rip.
Big rip there.
peace. Rest in peace, everyone who made that film and was like, "This is good."
here's the thing. I think the Wachowskis haven't made anything good since the first Matrix.
Well, let's have a look.
Right,
Let's
Cloud
consult.
Atlas, Speed Racer, the Jupiter movie with Channing Tatum.
Did
and
you just
Mila
say
Kunis.
Speed Racer is a fucking bad film?
Yes, I actually during the pandemic I rewatched Speed Racer.
It's fucking amazing. It's the best film ever.
It's so whack. I mean,
And
if
that's
you are
why
on-
it's good.
If you are on something, then yes, it's
You know those
fantastic.
chills that we were talking about? Those
Yeah.
chills?
You
You
get,
get
them
those.
24/7.
You get
and
those.
a little, you get a
in
little
Speed
more as
Racer.
well.
Yes, you do. In the end scene of Speed Racer where he fucking like flings two cars into the screen, it's
Okay, fine.
it's amazing.
The
It's amazing.
Wachowskis have made The Matrix and Speed Racer, and everything else was shit. Especially that fucking Jupiter movie starring Jupiter Ascending.
Oh, Jupiter Ascending. We saw that in cinemas, didn't we?
Oh,
That
yeah, we
was
did.
Fucking terrible. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Channing Tatum had shoes that could like fly.
Yeah, and he's like,
and Eddie
fucking-
Redmayne is like doing a ridiculous performance.
Yeah, it was so bad. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So yeah, look, the Wachowskis, they should be given credit for The Matrix. Like, that is revolutionary.
Oh yeah.
But I think they've always struggled to, like, they're in the shadow of it. You know, they're struggling to get out of it, and they haven't really successfully made anything that great after it.
Yeah. Other than Speed Racer.
Sure. Fine.
Yeah.
They made Speed. I remember seeing Speed Race in cinemas. I don't know if it was Nike or Puma, they came out with a Speed Racer shoe, and when the movie came out, and of course we were really young. I don't know how old.
The best age for it.
We would have been like 8, 9 or something, like really young.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got Speed Racer shoes, and I remember thinking they'd make me go faster. And I was like, oh, bro, those are the days.
And then you ran onto the street and got hit by a car.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, no, other than, like, if I had to sum up the Matrix Resurrections in, like, a sentence, I would say, fuck nostalgia.
Yep, I agree. I would say, if I was to give it a one-word review, I would say Chad.
Yeah. Hey, bro, this is my girlfriend. This is my wife. I'm Chad. He has, like, 2 kids that, like, barely talk. Because he probably beats them, for fuck's sake. But, God, I can't, Like, but even that, it's like, of course, I think, honestly, was it Lana? Her name.
I believe it was Lana.
Yeah, I honestly think, like, she wrote this in to be like, fuck them.
Oh, of course. It was very intentional.
Yeah.
It was very
good
intentional.
Good on her. Like, for that, I'm giving you browning points.
Browning points?
Isn't it brown? Like,
brownie, as in like a brownie, like a fucking brownie, chocolate brownie.
Yeah, brownie points. That's what people say, right? Brownie points. Yeah,
brownie
I'm giving her brownie points.
How many? If you're gonna rate this movie, how many brownie points would you give it? On a scale of
1 out of at least 30.
1 out of 30. That's an odd scale you got there. That's the new official podcast now rating.
That's
it's
how
based
many
on
brownies
points.
Yeah, can fit in a fucking.
It's 30. It's a scale out of 30.
That's how many can fit.
I would give it a solid 16 brownies out of 30. Okay. Right, slightly better than okay. Like, just like barely, like 1 brownie better than okay.
And so, viewers, you need to think about, like, when you make brownies, it's you make them in a big fucking tray.
Are you about to mansplain making brownies?
Yes.
I think everyone understands. Okay, fine, sorry. Yeah,
I just need them to picture this, right?
Yeah.
So 16. So imagine you take 14 brownies of that 30 is taken out, and that's 16 right left. Mine is 1. Right, so 29 brownies have been fucking eaten. There's 1 left, and that's
you really did not like this movie.
That's what that fucking movie felt like. It's like, come on, at least like 2 or 3 for me, but there's 1.
So you would have respected it more if it was at least 3 brownies.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but like it just the way it ended as well was like, fuck off. Like she wrote that in the script, being like, and then they fly off to the guitar solo of fucking someone.
But could Neo even fly at that point, or was he still hanging on to Trinity?
he's hanging on.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah. I love how the only good kicks out of the movie were when Neo tried to fly.
Yeah.
That was the only time I laughed, and everyone else in the cinema laughed. But that's it.
Did you see this with your family?
No, I did. I saw this with my younger brothers.
Right.
And even they didn't like it. So yeah. They were like, where was the action? This is the Matrix, isn't it? I'm like,
that is by far the most disappointing part, is there's no fucking action in a Matrix movie. A Matrix movie.
Yeah. That's why I get 1 brownie point, bro.
But yeah, I don't know. I just as much as I shit on it during this podcast, I just can't. I can't go. I can't. It's. Look, I've seen worse movies. That's the thing.
Okay, but you need to understand $190 million. These 3 films that have been like.
Jungle Cruise was 200. Like,
that's true, but at least they didn't have any hype. Like, we kind of knew going into it. Okay, we got Dwayne and Emily. Like.
Yeah, okay, I agree with.
We got one Wachowski.
That's the thing. I think I had literally no hype going into it because I'm like, there's only one good Matrix movie.
Okay.
So it can't be worse than 2 and 3. So it's got to be.
I like 2 and 3. So yeah. I guess we're just different people.
I guess. Yeah. I'm just a Matrix Resurrections kind of guy, and you're the other fucking 2 Revolutions and the other one.
Yeah.
They all start with R.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Apart from the first one.
Yeah. But yeah.
I could have made a joke about this one.
What?
Should have been called The Matrix. No, I'm not going to do it.
Whoa!
You could figure out what I was going to say. But no, we got to stay politically correct here.
Yeah.
Right. This is 2022.
That's what we try to do here.
You know,
it's 2022. Wow.
It is 2022. Can you believe it? We did. Probably should have started the episode by saying this. We took a bit of a break for New Year's.
Yeah.
We're back in full swing.
If you're complaining about us missing a week, we're sorry.
If you're complaining, then wow, you really must enjoy the pod.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yes, we'll wrap it up there. I think we've said as much as we can say about The Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah. Don't see it. Watch something else.
There's nothing on, I reckon.
There's nothing on.
Don't go to the movies.
Breaking Bad.
Don't go to the movies to see it. If you have access to HBO Max or another version of seeing it digitally, yeah, sure, give it a watch. But yeah, don't go to the cinemas. No. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Now, if you've enjoyed this pod, follow us, give us a like. We're a podcast now, and at a pod now on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on Google, Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff. We do video and audio, so if you're one or the other, and you prefer listening the other way, you can do that.
I think the kids call it MP4.
Ooh. I don't think they do.
Well, that's the format on a laptop.
It is the format, but I don't think kids are smart enough to know what the fucking format is.
They play Minecraft and they know what like a Java file is or some shit.
Wow.
Right? They play TikTok.
They know what Matrix is.
They know what China is.
Yeah, so then they know what an MP4 is.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I should never have doubted you. Next week, there's a million fucking options we've got. A lot of shit came out during New Year's. I think it's like the dumping ground for movies, where it's like, if you've got nothing good, just release it in New Year's.
Yeah.
So the options are Ghostbusters Afterlife, The King's Man. I said there's something else. Oh, and James Gunn's new TV show, Peacemaker. The first 3 episodes, I think, come out. And that's been getting amazing reviews. Everyone's saying it's the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
So, so we could do that as well.
I'm so excited. Alrighty.
But yes, plenty of options. So we'll catch you next week, and sky's the limit. Are you having fucking an aneurysm? What are you doing? Lucas he was trying to wave, but he wasn't doing a great job. If you're an audio
Bye,
listener.
guys.
See you next week.
Okay. See ya.
Stop.
I just want to explain. To the listeners.
I'm gonna cut this all out.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay, no, it's like my hand, like instead of waving my hand, it like my hand looks like one of those inflatable like huge guys that just like flap around at car dealerships and stuff. So yeah, I'm just trying to like paint the picture.
Yeah, he looked like he had Parkinson's. Thanks very much for watching.
Bye.
Yeah.